name is Debbie Weinstein, and I am the product manager for iWay Service Manager. Today I'm going to give you an overview of an exciting new feature we added to ISM, the testing platform. This new feature adds unit testing functionality to the iWay Service Manager design tool and was added to release 9.0. And so that everyone still on the 8X track can benefit, the feature is being backported to the upcoming 8.1 release, which runs on Java 8. The first thing you see is a new folder named Tests. When you create a new application in the design tool, a new tests folder is automatically created. For every flow you create, you can create a test suite and include multiple test cases in the test suite. Each test case is a unit test for a feature of the flow. Let's start with a brief overview of the flow we're using, and then we'll dive into the tests and how to run them. For this example, we created a flow named Demo Flow, which contains a move object that sets two special registers based on JSON input, name and greeting. The choice object then looks at the value in the greeting special register and based on the value takes one of two routes, either the hello route or the goodbye route. The payload for the hello route prints a hello message along with the value of the name special register, and goodbye does the same, but with a goodbye message. Next, let's take a look at the new test directory. You see that I created a test suite with the same name as the flow. I also created two different test cases in the Demo Flow test suite for testing the flow we created. We will look at these in more detail shortly. The test case editor itself is testing, and on the right, a details pane displaying the global settings for the test. When you click on an object in the flow, a panel displays the details of the object's test configuration. This details panel provides multiple tabs, each representing a specific test action. When the functionality of the tab is enabled, you will see an icon on the tab. Here you see the icon on the Assert tab, indicating that functionality is enabled. When you no longer need to perform a particular test, just unselect Enabled. Let's review the actions. The Mock tab allows you to override the behavior of an object. You can specify which event the object should return, either one or more standard stock events, or a custom event. For example, you can set an event to be emitted on failure to force the execution to follow the failure route. Assert allows you to provide expressions to be evaluated and tested for validity, and to report results at the end of the test execution. Asserts can be configured at the object's pre- and or post-execution stage. You can see there are 6 different types of asserts that are supported. For example, you might want to check that you have a special register with a certain value, or maybe you want to check that you have a node on the document with a certain value or attribute. You enter the condition, and at which iteration you want to test the condition. You can also use the message field to provide an optional user message to display in the event that the assert fails. Verify checks whether or not the object was called during execution. Choose the condition and verify it was called the appropriate number of times based on your scenario. The compare allows you to perform comparisons between the document that is returned from the selected object at runtime against a base document that you provided when you configured the test case. Finally, there's Validate Schema, which allows you to validate the document returned from the selected object against an XML schema. Let's take a look at the 2 test cases in this test suite. In the Hello test case, we see on the Hello path there's an icon on the Assert tab indicating that it's enabled. In this test, we have an assertion that we're expecting a message of Hello John. Therefore, if we look at the Goodbye path, we see that the Verify tab is enabled and that we never expect this route to be called. Looking at the Goodbye test case, we see the opposite. In the Goodbye path, there's an icon on the Assert tab indicating it's enabled. In this test, we have an assertion that we're expecting a message on the document of Goodbye John. And if we look at the Hello route for this test, we see that the Verify tab is enabled and we never expect this route to be called. Now let's run the test suite. Right-click and select Run as Test Suite. We want to start the configuration for the project demo flow. The server is started, and we can see in the Text Execution tab that both test cases ran successfully. You can see the time it took for each test case to run, as well as the summary. To rerun the test suite, you can simply click on the Run Tests icon. We don't need to restart the server. And we see that the tests are rerun. You can also run an individual test case rather than the entire test suite. We can just run the goodbye test case, and again, you see the results in the execution window. The last thing I want to mention about this new feature is that all of the test suites that you build can be automated by running them using Ant. We provide a script that you can edit to enable this functionality in your environment. The script indicates it will run the test suites that it finds in the test folder of the current project. So enjoy this great new feature for testing flows in iWay Service Manager Release 9 and coming very soon in Release 8.1. Thanks for watching.